Valley, the superintendent of the Lowell Police Department. And I wanted to speak with you about a matter that occurred yesterday in Lowell at the Lowell Public Library and give you some facts about this particular case. There was an incident that occurred yesterday, and what basically happened was a person who was at the library and was under supervision by the probation department was there and removed from his person part of a device that is used to track his whereabouts, a GPS device. This device apparently was removed from his belt when he was utilizing the restroom in the Lowell Library in a bathroom adjacent to the children's section of the library. He then left the library and the device was left in the bathroom on the windowsill. This disconnection, so to speak, from the other part of the device, which is wrapped around his ankle, caused the device on the windowsill to sound an alarm, emit an alarm. An employee of the library, a library aide, was drawn to the sound, retrieved the device, and brought it to the librarian in charge. At that point, the gentleman, approximately 40 minutes later, came back to retrieve the device, and the librarian was suspicious, recognized the fact that maybe there was more to the story than met the eye, and the police were notified. An officer responded to the scene. The officer then spoke to the individual. The person admitted that he was in a situation where he was being monitored by probation and was on this device. Further conversation ensued between the officer and a detective here at the Lowell Police Department who works in the unit that supervises people who are investigated for these types of crimes. And contact was made with the probation department, and the probation department issued a temporary warrant, so to speak, to arrest the individual for violating the terms of the probation by being disconnected from the device for approximately 40 minutes. That individual was arrested by the Lowell Police Department, held overnight here at the Lowell Police Department, and taken to the Superior Court this morning in Lowell. And at that point, apparently a hearing was held on this particular matter, and the individual was released from custody, and all charges were, at this point, from what I understand, dropped. So at this point in time, the information that I am giving to you was information I was able to ascertain this afternoon upon further discussion with detectives involved in this case, and also by speaking with people who had information about what occurred in court this morning. So at this point in time, this matter appears to be closed. There is no further investigation underway by the Lowell Police Department into this matter. There does not appear to be any crime committed in this particular case, other than the fact that there was an apparent violation of probation by not being monitored for that approximately 40 to 45 minute period of time. So that is basically all the information I have in this case, and I know that there had been a great deal of media inquiries into this matter. There was my understanding from the city manager that the city librarian was getting numerous phone calls and inquiries from the media, and he requested that I then brief the media on this matter and bring you all up to speed on this case.
Any indication why you took this thing off, though? Chief, anything about that? Was just because he was in the restroom, or can you comment on that at all?
I don't have specific information about that, but I think there's an assumption being made that it was inadvertently removed from the belt when the individual was using the restroom. At least that's the explanation that we offer.
Is it the opinion of the police department and the courts that he left this piece there accidentally?
I can't comment on what happened in court today or what the reasoning was behind the decision made.
The police department feel he left it there accidentally?
I think what happened was yesterday our police officers who responded to that scene, their suspicions were aroused by the circumstances involving this particular case. There have been other incidents in libraries in the Commonwealth, as you know, where children have been victimized. And in this particular case, the individual who had this device was in the library in an area adjacent to the children's section. There was concern by the officer. That's why probation was contacted, and a decision was made to issue a temporary warrant. The officers had now the right, the ability to arrest this individual on that warrant. Certainly the individual was taken into custody, and this matter was resolved in court today. So I think that certainly, I believe the officer felt that there was, at least suspicion was aroused to the point that they needed to look into this matter further, and maybe that the probation authorities who are responsible for monitoring this individual should be contacted and should be advised of the situation. And they made a decision to issue the warrant and have that person arrested on this charge.
Weren't the rules of his probation that he was, the conditions that he was supposed to stay away from children under 16, and wasn't he in violation of probation for simply being near the children's section?
I can't comment on that. I can't say that he was indeed in contact with any children at any time. I can tell you that his device was found in the bathroom adjacent to the children's section.
But just being in that area, that's not a probation violation?
Well, again, that matter was apparently adjudicated today in Lowell Superior Court. I have no information on what occurred in court.
And what is that? Is it a receiver or something that
it's
go on your belt?
Exactly. It's more or less attached to the belt. It's more or less like a cell phone or a pager type of device. So it's a two-tiered system. One is the bracelet around the ankle. The other one is the device attached to the belt. They must act in unison in order for them to both be effective. In other words, you can't take one and the other one. If you remove one, the other doesn't work. You have to have both devices on you at all times in order for the device to work.
But the device on your belt you can remove and take off.
Apparently so.
On your own free will.
That's correct.
Unlike the bracelet.
Thank you very much.
I noticed you didn't. I noticed you didn't refer to this individual by his name.
Right. I mean, in this particular case, there was a press release that you all have, I believe. But in this case, based on the information I received regarding this matter this afternoon, the outcome in the Superior Court, as far as I'm concerned, this matter is closed.
Would you call it a mix-up?
A mix-up in what way?
Well, in the sense that a man was arrested.
Mm-hmm.
He was released. No charges.
Well, first of all, the man was arrested on a warrant issued by the probation department. So I'm not going to comment on any. We communicated information that we had to the probation department. I'm sure they had made a decision based on what they received from the Lowell Police Department. They felt it was in the best interest of the Commonwealth to bring this man into custody and get this matter heard before a judge. Judge made the determination, and I can't comment one way or the other whether, I guess the old saying is, damned if you do and damned if you don't, But in this case, I think the right decision was made by our officers. They made the call to the probation. The probation made a call, ordered the arrest of the individual. That occurred, and then the courts took it from there. All righty?